Blossom's back, and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives and another episode of Garage Review. Yes, I am back with a brand new cut. I know it looks really messy, and that's because I just woke up. I've actually fixed my sleep schedule, at least for the past 2 days. Woke up at 5 a.m. yesterday, woke up at 8 a.m. today. If I wake up at 11 a.m. tomorrow, you know I've already lost the plot. So hopefully tomorrow we'll go back to back, wake up at 5 or 8. That's kind of what I want to go for. But anyway, I just woke up, my hair is a mess, so it looks really messy, and I'm not going to style it for the video, at least not right now, because I'll be heading out to the gym afterwards. And you know, I'm not the kind of person that styles their hair before going to the gym, because what's the point? You're gonna get all sweaty and your hair is gonna be a mess anyway. So if I do record videos after working out, which is going to be a lot more common now since I'm waking up a lot earlier, then maybe I'll style my hair for that. But once again, man, always shout out to my stylist. So today we're back with another episode of Garage Review, and today we have, well, this, I just want to say he's got a cool name. Alright, he's got a cool, I know the comment of the video, or the title of the video is called None. I don't know what that really means, but NK Overkill. That's a pretty dope name, not gonna lie. He's one of my brand new Patreons, and we're gonna check out his garage today. We're gonna give it a nice little review. So let me tell you the rundown, the summary of everything you need to know. So as you can see from the stats, 200k cash. That's a nice amount of gold over there. 6,700, 6,500 trophies. You got more gold than you do trophies. Goddamn. RQ 500 as well. So his favorite brand is Mazda. Favorite country is the United States. Let's go, boy. He's got a strong US garage as well. And of course, he's only been playing the game for a little over a year. In terms of the Yellowbird Challenge, he's stuck in France, which is just like me. That was the last country I did, I think. And he's in, and of course, after France is the final stages. And let's get into it. So starting off with the commons, now, as you can see, this is a pretty interesting garage. When I looked through it the first time, like, you know how most garages, the strongest usually section when I'm not reviewing a whale is usually rares, right? But it isn't the case for him, and we'll check that out in a bit. We'll start with the commons. It's a really weak showing, not gonna lie. We only have like, what, it was like 4 RQ19s, I think. Let's go back. VAR. Yeah, 3 RQ19s, not a single 18. Yikes. And then, you know, there's a lot of stock. There's a lot of max. I mean, there's like some max, but there's a lot of stock cars. I'm not sure if you're planning to be maxing them out or you're keeping them around as fuse. All I'm gonna say is that you don't need like 2 Alfa Romeo Giulietta Spiders or anything like that. So really my recommendations for common are as follows. You only have 3 RQ19, so you might want to work on that a little more. I would recommend 2. The Nissan Almera and the Rover 200. Why the RQ19 Nissan is because I know you like Mazda, which means that you kind of want to have a decent Japanese hand to follow suit. So if that's the case, the Almera is a good option for an RQ19 standard tire car. I'd also recommend the Rover 200 because it's a Blossom choice. And I guess bottom line, whenever I do a garage review, I don't want to sound redundant or repetitive. So usually there's always this like kind of aura around the whole review. Like, you should get Blossom Choice cars. Like, they are actually really good. And if you don't know where they are, they're on my website, link in the description below. Or if you're in my Discord server, we have a channel dedicated to that alone, which is super easy to go and check. So moving on for RQ18s, because you have, you know, 0 RQ18s. It goes from 19 to 17 with the Cadillac DeVille. I would recommend the RQ18 Monte Carlo SS 996, great dragster. And of course, the Citroen ZX Vulcan. Now, why the Citroen? The Citroen is incredibly niche because it handles and it has performance tires. It's the front-wheel drive version, if I remember correctly. It is front-wheel drive. It's a front-wheel drive version of the Opel GT, basically. So I know that he's been getting into clubs. So when there's a front-wheel drive event and it's like super low RQ and it's all dry, you're better off using that performance tire over a standard tire, because a performance tire car and a standard tire car have vastly different stats, and they might be at the same RQ because obviously, you know, one car is better in the rain, much better in the rain than the other. So I would recommend the Citroen, really. And of course, I would say max your Lotus MK1 Cortina and your TVR Grand Tourer because they're nice, super lightweight, twisty cars. Anyway, moving on to the uncommon range now, and I have to fast forward to 225. That's what I got in my notes. So if you're wondering, because I sent obviously, I think everybody knows the process now. I always send notes, as you can see here, along with a garage review. So if you were wondering why I had timestamps next to all the rarities, this is why. But moving on to uncommon. So starting off, I would say since you're starting to get into club clubs, you gotta max out the duplicates, man. You gotta max out the duplicates of the key boys, like the Mazda units, which should be fun for you because you're a Mazda man. Lotus Europa 47, and of course the Renault Twizy F1, which is a car that I need to max in duplicates off, but I haven't because I'm just so. It was so painful for me to max a second to zero. Like I really didn't want to do it, but I knew I had to do it. It was more like a chore, if anything. And then of course some cars that you already own that I recommend you to max, because once again, like the comments here, you got quite a bit of cars just stock, just sitting around, and maybe you're just not sure which are good and which aren't. Usually if it's not Blossom Choice, I can't say that. Blossom Choice is the best of the best. There's still great cars out of it. But you know, a lot of these cars I wouldn't say are keepers, like the Cadillac Alante or the Chrysler 300M Special Edition. I don't even have them lying around my garage. The Z1 I've seen a couple people max a couple times, but I never really had it. The Volkswagen Jetta is decent though, I will give you that. But my recommendations would be the RQ28 Impala SS over there, and have it drag spec in 996, and of course the RQ27 Chrysler Laser, and last but not least the Dodge D100 over here. They're all American, and obviously my recommendations are curated to your liking. Since you like USA cars, or at least your favorite country is the USA, then you know I'm going to recommend American cars to you. And of course you have a really strong American garage, so it's really better just to bolster what you're already super strong in. So I'd say 2 slingshots. I think the second one is already maxed out. You just need to put in the cash upgrades, because that's what you told me with a lot of super rares, so I'll keep that in mind. But once again, you know, a lot of stock cars here, like Lagonda isn't very good. The Camaro Berlinetta, it's an amazing name, but it isn't very good. The Alfa Romeo S4 isn't very good. The Mustang 289, I love that car, but it isn't very good. So if you were wondering if those were keepers or not, well, basically they're not. So anyway, moving on to rares now. This is where it gets pretty interesting, because usually when it comes to rares, this is where most garages are reviewed. This is like their strong spot. You know what I mean? So let's check it out. Once again, we see a pattern with rare and below. You have a lot of the cars stock, and you have a lot of cars. And I'm just guessing that maybe you don't know which to keep and you know which to max out. Well, I've already given you the list. It's a pretty long list of rares that I gave you too. So I'm not gonna like pause through the video and you know nitpick every single one, because you have the notes. I sent them to you already. But basically, I gave you what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 rares to max across the board. Some of them, like this one, the V8. Have it drag spec. It's 4.80 to 60. It's really impressive. Also, I recommend the Citroen BX GTI because it's medium ground clearance, it's lightweight, it handles very well, and of course, you're stuck in the French championships, so that car will help you a lot. We talked about it obviously in Discord already that you need a cut jar. So yeah, hopefully you've got a cut jar by now, because you're gonna need that for, I think it's like Chambéry or Cranberry, as I like to call it. The MG Montego Turbo is also a really decent car. Medium ground clearance, 8.9 handling. Is obviously no Vauxhall Chevette, and if I were you, I'd go for maxing 2 Vauxhall Chevettes. But this is a good alternative if you want to save some RQ, because this is 3 RQ cheaper. And then yeah, there's some decent max out cars. I see some Mazdas in here, obviously. You gotta work on that VT50, bro. I know that thing ain't looking too good, and the stats ain't looking too good either. But you know, if you're a Mazda man, bro, you got a full send it. You gotta go all the way. So you know that's obviously gonna stay in the garage. You know, it's kind of like me and the Dodge Dakota Laramie. I haven't maxed it yet, surprisingly. I haven't maxed it since American Frontier, because it's just trash. But like I know I have to do it eventually because I'm a Dodge man. You know, it's a specialization kind of thing. But yeah, my notes is like, you know, much like any other garages, your rares, you know, they are the biggest in terms of size, but it definitely isn't the strongest. Most garages that I've reviewed, the rare section is the biggest and the strongest. Here, the rare is the biggest, but it isn't the strongest. The strongest, surprisingly, is actually, this is a first. I don't think I've ever reviewed a garage where this rarity was the strong suit. And it's actually super rares. Kind of cursed, just in my opinion, because I hate super rares. But it was pretty refreshing to see, because when I was going into this video, I was like, oh, rares are gonna be the strongest suit, isn't it? Just like every other garage. But no, it wasn't. It was super rares, and you mentioned it in your messages as well towards me. It's actually really impressive. This is one of the weird situations where I'm like, you know what? Don't really focus on your super rares, because you kind of have it unlocked. You have a great variety. You got a bunch of maxed out super rares of all all RQs of all tire variations. You got the standards and the performance and the slicks and all the off-roads and everything. The only thing that you're really lacking over here, and this is a weird quirk, but it's a quirk nonetheless, and I do love these quirk and features in all these different garages. Look at his, like everyone watching right now, look at his Super Air garage, okay? Look at his Super Air garage. It's massive, right? It's really big, almost as big as the rares, and, or might even be bigger. I'm not even sure what the actual numbers are, and there are a bunch of maxed out Super Airs. You might have as many maxed out Super Airs as I do, which is insane. But then again, I neglect the Super Airs a lot. I mean, he's got maxed everything, bro, like the Bora and the Donkavort SA. Those are cars that I would never in a million years maxed. You know, he got the 206 RC. He's almost done with the Nissan 200 SX. And, you know, the RX-8, I'm surprised you haven't maxed, to be honest. And I know that Ghibli Diesel is maxed because you told me that a lot of your cars are kind of like, you haven't put in the cash upgrades. So now I'm thinking every car that you have like 2-star, 1-star, you know, are already done. Already maxed. I might be wrong though, but maybe most of them are already maxed. Like, of course, the Renault 5 Turbo as well. It's insane. What was I gonna say? I was like, everyone look at the Supers. Oh, yeah, that's right. Look at his Super Air collection, right? It takes up half of the YouTube video that he sent me, and he actually doesn't have a Datsun 240Z Rally. Like, that's actually insane that you don't have a 240Z rally. I'm not gonna harp on that because obviously that sucks, but like hopefully you get one soon, man. I bless you. But also I bless you. I hope you get that Datsun soon. I mean, honestly, like I feel like the odds of getting it if you open a Japanese premium isn't gonna be it wouldn't be too hard to get. That's what I would say, but obviously you haven't gotten it yet, but I hope you get it soon because that's a car that you definitely need. And one other thing, do you got a Lotus Sprint? You got no Lotus Sprint either. So, you know, what I'll say here is that you are working with what you got, and that's honestly amazing. I respect that so much. Work with what you have, man. You know, sometimes not everyone can get a key car. I mean, even for me, I couldn't get a wide body to save my life. It took me 3 years to get a super light. So yeah, at the end of the day, you know, what's important is to work with what you got. But obviously, it's nice to see that you have some really useful cars as well, like the Renault R21 Turbo and the Opel GT. But my notes for Super Airs, as far as it goes, isn't too much. Just, you know, max a couple duplicates of like the Mura P400, you know, just for club's sake. And of course, check out that RQ49 Abarth 131 Rally. But like I said in my notes, man, it's like, you know, for most garages, it's like I'm telling people to focus on the supers and the ultras, but for you, you're already done on the supers. Like you can slack a little bit of the supers. Well, I want to say like lenient and leeway, but I didn't know how to put it into a sentence together, so I got lost for a second. But I can say that you can give it some slack and focus on your lower rarities a little more. Maybe rare, uncommon, and common. You got a lot over there to work on, and a lot of them is stock. So, you know, that's something to think about. Anyway, moving on to your ultra rares, I'm going to show you guys the collection. It starts at... Oh, did I not put the time? Oh, I did put the timestamp. It starts at 0:25 seconds in. This one, you know, let's just have a trip down not memory lane, but let's just have a tour of his ultra rare collection. When it comes to ultra rares, it's my favorite one to review when it comes to garage reviews, because literally all I do is tell you what to keep, what to fuse away. I don't really say what you should go out and collect, because ultra rares are really hard to achieve. You know, I can't just say, oh, you should be getting this ultra or that ultra, because that's basically telling my patrons or anyone I'm reviewing, yo, go buy carbons until you get something. No, I'm not gonna do that. That's evil, man. That's evil. But so yeah, I'm not gonna harp on that. Kind of like I said earlier, you know, work with what you got. So this is kind of this collection, you know, like the K-Dom 270 over there. That definitely has to be maxed. The Charger Daytona is a pretty good car as well. I wouldn't say it's like key. And honestly, if it comes to a testable car in the ultra range, I would go for the Countach LP400. But everything you need to know, bro, you know, everything you need to know is in the notes. In the end, I came up with 8 ultra rares that you should max immediately. Cars that consist of the 270 and the Colorado and the 030 and 21 ultra fuse cars. So now moving on to the epics, we go into 10 seconds. I love how they just become shorter and shorter and shorter. But 10 seconds. This is a really strong American garage, especially for his trophy count as well. When you think about it, he's got the GT4, he's got the M4S, and he's got the SRT10. You know, and he's also got the Sidewinder. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. If that was a Dodge American Frontier event that was like no legendaries ×5, you would probably beat me if you had these cars maxed, because I don't have a Sidewinder, I don't have an M4S, I don't have an SRT10. I've said it so many times, but when I open those American Frontier Dodge packs, for some reason they gave me all the low end ones. They gave me all the low end epics and the juice. I'm really happy with the juice. But like everything else was like super low end. It was like 72 and below. I have them all now, so you know I'm gonna keep them all for the collection. But hopefully I'll pick myself up an SRT SRT10 or an M4S one day, because goddamn I want to max it out, especially the Viper SRT10. That's a key car right there. But the GT4 is an amazing one. You know, Sidewinder is a great MRA. The Lotus Exige Skura is a great car. I'm wondering if you got that during what was it? In the shadows. Ford Edge ST, that might be super useful coming up as well. Who knows when the Ford Final might come, and who knows what the track sets might be. But I don't know why I closed my book, because I still have notes to talk about. But for epics at the end, I was just like, you know, for key epics, if you want to max them, I gave you two options. It was basically either the SRT10 or the GT4. I would really go GT4 first though, and then for epic fuse, there were 9 epic fuses in the end. Last but not least are the legendaries. Usually when it comes to garage reviews, when I see the legendary collection, for lower end garages, I'll give them a recommendation. I'll be like, oh, you know, just work on a car that you love, you know, a car that works with your niche. And for higher end garages, I'll be like, well, you don't need to work on anything really, because you just need to wait for a tri-series, and then, you know, you use all your fuse material for whatever car you need. So for your case though, I would say that if you are going to be chasing your first ever tri-series win, I would say don't fuse any of your epics right now, because you're pretty close to actually winning a tri-series prize car. I say that in context of you probably have to open 15 carbon fibers. But that being said, the fuse material aspect, you're pretty close. Your 21 fuse epics and your 21 fuse ultras and your 9 fuse epics. Honestly, when it comes to the tri-series, I would say that the minimal amount of fuse material that you should get would be around 30 to 35 ultra fuse. 45 would be great, ideal, but I would say 30 to 35, and maybe 10 to 12 epic fuse. So you're really close to those numbers, especially for the epics, right? So, and obviously for the ultras, you're at 21, but if you open all 15 of the carbon fibers, you know, the worst scenario is that you get 15 ultras, but then that's 21 plus 15. But then there's no point, because like if you're opening those carbons because you want cars that you need for the final. So if you get 15 ultras, you're just gonna get more fuse material, but nothing to fuse it into. So hopefully, you know, if you open 15, you get lucky. You know, maybe you get 3 epics, 4 epics, and then you get like 11 ultras. So that's 21 plus 11, which is like what, 30 or something. My math is bad. 21, no, 32, 32. So you know that's a good number. So I would say that you're pretty close to the tri-series. So honestly, if I were you, like option A is to just keep what you got and just build up that fuse pile. Wait for a tri-series to come your way. Maybe you like the requirements, go all in. You know, get the fuse, get the right cars. Boom, you got yourself a tri-series prize car after you're playing. That would be a huge come up, and I'll be happy to see you win one. But the second option I would say is maybe put a single upgrade in your Dodge Viper SRT10 ACR, the RQ81. My main reason for that is because all the other legendaries that you have are kind of OGs. I mean, at least the F1, the 12C are pretty much OG. I would say German Renaissance and American Dream are pretty OGs at this point. Like, they're really old. But I would say the Viper is going to be pretty decent because it's American Frontier. You know, you're utilizing that new tag. It's a 2000s car. And honestly, it has really good stats for an RQ81. When you think about it, 3494 to the SRT Viper's 3393, like, you know, it's a 2 RQ difference, and I feel like, you know, the ACR is a better like bang for your RQ, bang for your buck, bang for your investment, bang for your bang. I don't know what I want to say, but that would be my option B. Option A is to just wait for that tri-series prize car. Option B is to work on that Viper. Whatever works best for you, man. But once again, that's your entire garage, man. It's a decent collection. 1 year plan, you got a decent amount of legendaries, a lot of them being Lambos, but then again, you know, it feels like nowadays every other legend pool is a Lamborghini. The Epic collection is great. Definitely your strongest suit here is American. So luckily, you know, that is your favorite brand, or your favorite country, sorry, American. And then your favorite brand is Mazda, so I do hope you get a Furai really soon. I would say in terms of Mazda, I don't see a lot in the Ultras. I saw a little bit in the Supers and then lower end. Mazda carbons don't come out often as well, but you know, when they do, you might as well go for them, right? It's a 100% chance of the Furai if you pull an Epic. But with that said, that is NK Overkill's Garage. Thank you so much for submitting it. Thank you for being a patron, and thank you for supporting me. If you guys want to know how to get your garage reviewed, it's super simple. All you need to do is join the Patreon. Link in the description below. Any rank, honestly, you can be a $1 patron, and I'll give you the same amount of, you know, care as I do to every other one. So, you know, it's a pretty good deal if you ask me. In terms of the pass, I remember I used to have a Google Sheet for signing up. Honestly, that's done. That's done. I got enough patrons to review garages for at least a year, so we Gucci. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Take it easy, guys. Peace.